Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am still Angus Dr. Random Mole. And right in the middle, we have our very own value intern.
Oh, I am in the middle, yes.
Yes, you are the pig in the middle, yes.
I'm Guthixian, and I'm hoping to beat Omar in this competitive stream, the first competitive stream Value has ever done, where we are in the Spanish Civil War with the two of us.
Thank you, Kandidaat Jochem Guthixian, for your intro words. We will, of course, look at your candidacy for ruler of Spain with due concern. But first, who is next to you?
I'm Omar oomzer, also known as the not expert in Hearts of Iron. Just to say before I lose.
Listen, Omar, you had literally all the cards in hands because you were the one that set up this game. You even managed to do it the way that basically I just heard that our dear Guthixian doesn't have any troops at all, like only a couple, and you have all the troops. So
I don't.
In my test game as the Carlis, I had 41 divisions, and now I only have 17. So if I can make do with these, that's 25% of what I did in my test game.
Right. In case you're wondering what F we're talking about, well, tonight we will once again be playing with the past. Well, in a way that we've never done before, because this is the very first ever value competitive live stream, and that's pretty cool. And I am in fact the very first shoutcaster that Value has ever had on their stream. So I'm gonna be.
You're making it sound so special, but we are both at such a massive disadvantage that there's a good chance that the AI would just beat both of us.
And that doesn't really matter because I will still be shouting throughout the entire match. that is what shoutcasters do, right? At least that's what I hear from Aris. No, but what will we be playing, people?
I'll be playing as everything says around us. Hearts of Iron 4, yes.
Oh, everything.
Yeah. I think you mean who will we be playing as?
Yeah, well, aside from that, that's very important. Hearts of Iron 4. What Hearts of Iron 4 is, as we established last live stream, it's a small time frame, but there's still a lot of stuff happening in there. So what will we be playing in Hearts of Iron 4?
The Spanish Civil War or Revolution, depending on who you ask.
So who should we ask?
Well, if you ask me, I'm saying Revolution.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And so why, Omar, are you saying Revolution?
Well, because I am playing as the Anarchists,
all right.
Which their revolution coincided with the Civil War, but could be argued was not necessarily part of it.
All right. So what time are we talking here? We're talking 1937?
1936. Yeah,
okay, 1936.
In the real world, it was 1936.
Yes, and this is the moment that the monarchy of Spain, and I'm literally depending on.
No,
what?
No, not the monarchy. No, okay, that's earlier.
What happened in 1936? Because I will readily admit to knowing very little about this.
I think we should go back a little bit earlier to like the 1930s or even before that. There was a monarchy. And that one collapsed.
Yeah.
Like massively. And then there was a election where a leftish coalition won, like massively, and we had the Spanish Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the red purple flag, the one that one flag. And then the nationalists were like, yeah, no, we're not having that. And then there was a civil war. Short story. But that's basically it.
So we have a republic, the Republic of Spain.
Yeah.
And we have the nationalist. I also heard the anarchist. Yeah. Anybody else joining into this? Well, I want to say party, but this was clearly not a party.
Oh, it can be a party if you want to, I think. And yes, there is. And since my faction is doing a revolution of their own, although it's a counter-revolution, it's a revolution against the Republic and democracy, to restore the pretender to the throne of Spain, the House of, I think the House of Bourbon Parma, but honestly, don't quote me on that. I just know that it's not the same one as the previous monarchy, but the faction of the. Oh, sorry, yes.
Nice. So they are actually trying to install another monarchy than the one that there was before.
Yeah. Basically,
since their pretender has a different ideology as a monarch than the previous one and is not associated with the monarchy that failed and led to the establishment of the Republic. So they see themselves as doing away with the old monarchy and the old Republic all at once.
So Diogenes asks, are you guys playing with all the DLC? I missed that last stream, so I don't know. Are
No,
we
have
playing with...
all except for the last one.
Okay, not the last one. I
Yeah,
guess the
so
last one is, what is it called?
Battle of the Bosporus.
Battle
Yeah.
of the Bosporus, which is not
That-
going to be
But
very
not only-
important.
Isn't
No.
it just an expansion pack, or is there actual base game content in it as well?
Yeah, I think it depends on what you call content, but I think there's some reward focus trees and
Right, okay, yeah.
some stuff. I'm not really sure. I haven't checked it out because I haven't got it.
The
So-
POOM is the leftist non-governmental group.
Yeah,
Alright.
so that's like the
The Republic of Spain.
yeah,
Oh,
I think
no,
so.
no.
Here it's called the PSOE because I think that's the Spanish
This is...
name. Yeah,
this
it's
is...
a party. Yeah, I can't really say that.
It sounds like I will need another PhD to really completely understand this. But at the same time, I don't need to understand this because what I'm just going to be doing during this live stream, I'm going to be channeling.
Watching.
Exactly, I'm going to be observing. So basically, I'm going to be challenging Hemingway, who technically also he didn't just observe in the war. I think he actually
Or Orwell.
or Orwell. But I mean, I don't think Hemingway knew particularly much about Spain and its underlying currents when he was actually going there for the first time. So I got my rum, I got my observer mode, and I'm ready to Hemingway. And just I say, let's get into this. So.
Maybe you should like hold on. Maybe I should move like our Discord in front of the stream, as in I can't see Jochem's stuff.
Sure. How fair of you. Lionel Lannister with a kitty can be providing historical content in the chat. That's very good. Yeah, Ares, that's good. You provide historical content. These people provide the entertainment, and I'll just sit here watching stuff with my rum.
Sounds like a plan.
So let me hit the play button.
Absolutely. Let me also hit the sound button because I'm sure that we all want to hear the trumpets that are. Oh wait, I haven't set out turned off the day-night modus.
Let's turn it off directly.
Let's turn that one off directly. I already know the shortcut for that one. That's N.
I wonder if anyone who actually uses the day-night cycle, other than for time lapses, maybe.
And the sound is already once again too loud.
You could also just turn off the music.
I'm
because
gonna.
the music is annoying.
Yeah, I guess that will be it. Particularly
yeah.
the music is annoying. Can I
Jochem,
actually...
what speed do you want to play at? 3?
Something between 3 and 4.
Okay, let's
Okay.
do 3 because I still need to do some.
Oh, the time to cast of the yoke is now. What's happened? I thought I was observing. Invalid idea.
You're getting the events from the perspective of the observer, so...
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me.
All right, so the government idea, Antonio Ortega Gutierrez has been removed because its prerequisites are no longer fulfilled.
So if I just pause the game, I can explain that.
Yes, please.
So basically,
please.
what happened is I was playing as the Spanish Republic, and then the Civil War happened, and the anarchists were like, "Well, no, thank you. Let's not do this democracy thing anymore. Let's go anarchist." But then all the advisors I had, which were from the Spanish Republic, were like, "Well, we're not going to go with you. Bye."
All right.
So now they're gone.
So in your case, the idea of this person is can no longer be fulfilled. So the person itself has been removed. Okay.
Yeah,
I get it.
the
This
person
music
exists,
still
yeah.
is bugging the hell out of me.
Yeah, just
Why
turn it
music?
off.
I'm just gonna turn it off. I'm all for. Normally, I'm all for paradox, triumphal, or engaging music, but this is something.
Yeah,
else.
it's a whole other cookie.
All right. So in the beginning, at least, you will have to help me a little bit with. I will interrupt you now and again to talk about what buttons should I press because I don't play this game as you.
I
remember.
also have never played observer mode, so I have no idea.
I mean it's more about going into the right thingies.
It shouldn't be all that much that you have to do. It's just a matter of observing, I suppose.
Yeah, just not using WAS key to move because that's
that doesn't work.
The important part is making sure that you see everything, I think.
Right now I
And
see.
maybe finding out how you can switch from me to Omar, since I'm not quite sure how that works.
I can switch. I can switch between the two of you with control click. So if you tell me which ones you will be playing as, then I can go for that.
I'm a Carlist.
You're the Carlist. So you're the retro counter revolutionaries.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were counter-revolutionary before it was hip. Before it was cool. So the world news right now says there's an anarchist uprising in the Spanish Civil War, and
That's me.
that is you. So I'm pressing WASD, of course.
You mean that's so annoying, right?
So I do see a whole lot of troops on the move here. So this is red is anarchist Spain, right? As we've established, I think last stream, that is traditionally also concentrated around Barcelona.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
that's
just
really
looked it
common.
up on Wikipedia. I think it was.
Okay.
Because it was like yeah, but I'm not really sure. But that's like where the region where also the independent stuff happened. So
All right.
I
So-
was just said the Catalan independence movement was working with the trade unions, I think.
Yeah, so I
remember
think, yeah.
correctly.
So
So
I
yeah,
can,
their headquarters was in Barcelona, and obviously since that's Catalan territory, they worked with the Catalans where they could.
all right. So I can see some movement here of some. Well, I won't give away too much because of course you're playing against each other right now.
Yeah,
And-
maybe we should have a gentleman's agreement so to just not attack
Oh,
each other
I'm
just yet.
fine with telling what I'm doing, since for the most part I don't think I'll be fighting you just yet. We need to finish off the phalanges first.
And
Yeah,
the reason
phalangists.
exactly those damn phalanges. The reason that we have to do that is because in this stream
Nazis.
I can't hear it, but I know what you're playing.
we do hate Nazis, so they are gonna be a goner. And as you can see, Jochem was just talking about that to Omar, and I can confirm as an observer, you don't have to trust me, Omar, that this gentleman's agreement seems to be, at least from Jochem's perspective, in full force. Wait,
I can't really afford to attack Omar yet. I have very little troops.
so that's not
In
good
fact,
diplomacy.
If I can't beat the phalanges in time, then I might be in trouble. But
Right.
we'll see.
We are not historical masterminds of this particular period, but I think that among the two of you, you know quite a bit
We're just historical masterminds of any period.
of any period. Sure.
Oh, yes, I go again. Right? So,
We also have Wikipedia. We're really good at reading that. And we have Aris in the chat. So if you have any questions about this game, but particularly about this period, or have any points to discuss, as always, let us know. I have a point to discuss. What is Willem II doing returning to the Gemmer Empire? What's happening there?
I'm not going to explain that one, since that
Yeah,
happened.
so maybe if you just pause the game a bit,
Yeah.
then we can explain it, because I can't like explain and keep my attention to the game. So sorry, Jochem.
Yeah, no
So-
problem.
That dude
But,
is in the Netherlands right now, right? After
Yeah,
World War
so
One.
maybe Angus, are you like focusing on? You can also just watch,
I
German
can
Empire, I
I
think.
can definitely try and go to the German Empire. So let's have a little look.
which would be fun.
I can have a little look at the German Empire. So what is happening in Germany?
So
at the moment?
basically, if you look at the focus tree of Germany, you know how to do that, right?
Yeah, I do. In fact, you taught me that one. That is, it's not called focus tree. It's called Kaiserwerke.
Yeah, that's the focus they're doing.
Okay, that's the focus. Sorry, yeah.
So
Obviously.
if you scroll all the way right,
all the way right. Wait, scroll. How does one scroll?
or just
Literally-
just click and like drag.
yeah, drag. Sure, I'll just
Yeah.
click and drag.
You can also, yeah.
Yeah.
There you can see oppose Hitler.
Wait. Where is it? All
At
the way
top.
at the
At
top.
the top. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that seems like a good idea, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it seems like a very good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Kinda. Yeah, I mean, Kaiser was a dickhead.
Exactly. The
German,
Kaiser was
but-
ein Dickhad, as they say in Germany.
But basically, what this focus does is that it military coup against Hitler or the Nazis in general.
Right.
Pops up, and that's led by August von Mackensen, which is I mean, in Germany, he's a kind of well-known.
Russian military, right? So
Yeah, he was I think Prussian and even German Empire field marshal. He's like the one of the last hussars, or I'm not really sure how they're called in German.
Mm.
Like with the big black hats, like kind of the Queen's Guards hats, but then Germanish.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, this is where it's kind of gets a little bit funky, because I mean, he was still living at the time of Hitler rising and stuff, but he was like really old, just like Hindenburg, who was
Yeah,
like
the problem
senile.
in general with the opposed Hitler side of the base games focus tree is that by this point, Hitler's power was completely unquestioned, and a
Alright.
situation
Yeah.
like this was just implausible and maybe even impossible.
So,
Um,
sorry, just to interrupt. Diogenes in the chat says it is very ironic that the option to oppose Hitler is on the far right.
I mean,
That's true. Yes, they could have moved it to the left, but then
They
they
should
moved
have.
the rest of the country to the right.
They should have moved it to the left.
No,
There-
no,
but
Carlux just
back
did
on
it for the
track,
memes.
there are a few mods that move the timeline back a few years. So I know that there's one that puts the beginning of the game at the point where Hitler becomes chancellor in 1933, and then they've made this whole alternate path where he cannot be elected chancellor and a different person becomes the leader of Germany during the Weimar Republic, and then the history of Germany goes completely in a different direction. But what happened in 1936 is that Hitler's party declared all organizations in Germany had to be aligned with the ideology of National Socialism. So he dissolved every association that existed. So a workers' union, a military union, anything that was there, and it all became a part of the party, which meant that
Yeah,
there
so yeah, that's basically why this is in 1936, I guess, as well. That's like I think their workaround-ish.
Yeah.
because the game starts in 1936. And
Yeah,
Paolo-
okay, but that would probably been their internal justification for having this in there. Aside from maybe people don't want to play Hitler, which also
No,
makes sense.
I'm just saying that again, this is one of those things where they had to balance. Do we want to make an alternate history path that makes sense, or do we just want to include something that is functional for the player? And keep in mind that this path is not free, right? It's part of the Waking the Tiger DLC.
Yeah,
So
but I
when
mean,
it came out, I think it was 12 to 15 euros.
yeah, of course, but yeah, that's business. That's
Well,
Yeah,
that is
that's an
paradox
issue more
business.
games have,
That's
not
ongoing.
only this game.
But it means that you're paying 15 euros to be able to remove Hitler from power.
Hey, that to me that sounds cheap.
I guess if they want to charge me that much money, it would be better to make something that goes a bit further back in history. But I guess
I mean that's not the part of the game, so I mean I
That's-
get that as well.
That's true. That's true. If we already are paying $15, then at least we would want to also, remove Napoleon from power.
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean, there's a mod for that.
we may as well. I mean,
yes, that's
I
true.
don't allows for it if you push the time back far enough.
Yeah,
It
that's
just makes the rest of the game a bit more difficult.
All right.
You still have to deal with that limited time scope, right? That's something you never really get rid of, since Hearts of Iron just can't simulate more than 5 years before the game slows to a halt. And
Yeah, just grinds to a unplayable mass of battle.
It almost seems to me that the game mechanics there, the game code is making a statement. It's like it's done after 5 years. Now we're
You basically have one big war and then it's just done. You
Now-
can continue going boring, but yeah, sure.
yeah, I'm just not doing it anymore. Maybe that's just what the game's code is saying. All right, I'm back at this
That's I'll continue playing.
yeah. So
I'm going to do my best to salvage this war, since it's not going all that well. But
So-
it's mainly because I'm being attacked from all sides.
I'm not attacking you.
For almost all sides, then. I'm not even in your area anymore. I'm retreating from there to focus on consolidating my forces somewhere that they don't get attacked from all fronts. And hopefully not get surrounded here. Well, we'll see.
I really have the general impression, Omer, that you have like a lot of troops actually.
Yeah, but I think my troops are generally worse, as in
Yeah, but you have balanced the civil war in your favor in the beginning, I think.
yeah, there's no other way of doing that, because otherwise the nationalists would have risen up with like outranking me 5-1. I was like, yeah, let's not. I at least need to survive until I actually can get the civil war.
I mean, keep in mind, I have to fight the nationalists too now.
Yeah,
I
but
am a
that-
nationalist, but not that kind of nationalist, you know?
That's inevitable. I need to pass the game on November 20th for Aris, so
All right. Okay, that's 7
which is
days
not-
from now. We have 7 glorious days of gameplay. People, normally that's quite a bit for us.
I mean,
So what is happening here on the It is a mess though. It is a mess. What? There's this little territory in the middle of in close to La Coruña. What is going on there? The green territory.
That's me getting encircled.
Oh wait. Oh yo. So you actually split off. Oh yes.
Yeah, they surrounded my troops since I was trying to go around them, but it didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
It's kind of hard to see the borders here. I'll have a little look if.
so it's almost 20. Hold on, Aris. No, the anarchists are not in Madrid yet. It will take a while. We're now paused on the November 20th, just for Ares. So Ares, please explain why we're pausing here.
Sadness. What sadness? We're on. This is the 20th. This is the 20th.
Ah,
The day famous anarchist Bonaventura Durruti died in.
well, I have good news for you. The good old lad is still alive and kicking.
All right. Can we
He's,
go visit him in somewhere
He's
in
my
this?
he's my field marshal. So
All right. How do I view your field marshal?
I have no idea.
If you are able to view Germany's focus tree, then you should be able to see Omar's troops, I think.
I see the military staff of the right now. I think I should be. Oh wait. To realize the Regional Defense Council of Aragon. Yes, this is the one, right? So
Yeah.
I see your
Why
chat.
can't you see like my generals? That's weird.
No, I can not see your military hike. I can click to add somebody, right? So maybe I can actually have a little look at them here.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because if you look really well, you can see that they also have like military councils.
Was shot in the chest by distant gunfire. And that
Yeah, I read about this Durruti dude, and there are indeed several theories. Some suggest he was shot by his own men. Some suggest he was shot on accident by his own men. Some suggest he was shot by a sniper. Some suggest he was shot by distant gunfire, which can be anything. I mean, what does that even mean?
it could be your own forces, absolutely.
Maybe.
So in search,
Aaron,
can I?
If you like, go to press F1
All right, press F1. Yeah.
because you're looking at a weird game mode.
Okay.
Oh, you can see
I was gonna go for the terrain map mode, but sure. So, but if I could I even find Durruti?
I don't think you can see it then.
No, apparently not. I can Durango, yes, but Durruti, no. Computer says no. So sorry, Ares can go and.
I've press play again, so.
Yeah.
Now I have to do my best to salvage this war somehow, but it's looking quite grim for our forces.
All right, Omar. Yeah, I have to make a choice as an anarchist. Are you first gonna get rid of the Nazis, or you're gonna well, not the Nazis, but the phalanx, the fascists?
It would be great if Omar focused on the reason we all rose up to begin with, since the Republic controls half of Spain still.
Yeah, there's kind of some people in the way. I'm not really sure if you see them, but they're called fascists.
What are the fascists doing here, by the way? Like, they're supposed to be. Oh wait, they've conquered that little. And there, I don't want to say it, but
So the reason we are fighting in the first place is that in real life, of course, Francisco Franco united the Carlists and the Nationalists together in one front.
mm,
In this version of time, that didn't happen. At least since the AI focused so much on empowering the Phalangists, the Carlists had enough and split off. So now they're fighting each other.
right. And it's a military junta in control of the.
Yeah, since Franco isn't there to unify both parties, which is an interesting take by Paradox too. Since they don't directly say it, but if Franco isn't there, apparently the Nationalists can't keep a united front.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to.
I don't know my Spanish Civil War history well enough, but I would imagine that it should be an option for the Republic and the Anarchists to side with each other, right? But that doesn't happen either.
Yeah, just siding with people in general doesn't really
Well, you
happen.
can do it. I mean, even in game, you can unite the Nationalist front as Franco. And I know
Yeah,
them.
but as in we cannot like become friends now by
no.
game virtues, only by us saying, let's just wait.
So Durruti also has one of my favorite quotes that one day I will use in an archaeological article. We are not in the least afraid of ruins. We are going to inherit the earth. Ah,
That's so archaeological of you.
I have to say though, as an archaeologist, I'm kind of afraid of ruins because they may crumble and fall on your head while you're in your trench next to it. So I don't know.
But I have some good anarchist news to bring you in a few minutes. It's called "We Captured Madrid."
Yes, in a few minutes, it just happened.
It just happened.
So, for my understanding, the anarchists never captured Madrid, right?
Well, they were there, I think. So,
But they're everywhere. The anarchists are everywhere. Sorry, Aris.
oh, but what I read is that what happened was that the anarchists were fighting for the Republican forces. So they were like fighting
Yeah, basically
against Franco, and
the
they were like,
war.
having militias and having defending Madrid and stuff. But yeah,
It's just that before the update, the Spanish Civil War was two-sided. So the Republic and the anarchists were fighting on one side. I think just as a communist, quote-unquote communist group in one front, and then the nationalists and the Carlists were also fighting together. But now with the expansion, it's 4 factions, and they can also fight each other.
As
yeah,
they
yeah,
in fact
Which
did,
is
right?
actually historical, so that's interesting.
So
yeah. I'm not really sure how much they like.
Well, they
Did
fought
fight.
on the streets against each other, but not as a separate front.
I'm
As in the anarchists fought with the Republicans against the nationalists
Yeah,
and
but
such.
I mean, in between the years that the Civil War took, there were probably skirmishes between anarchists and Republicans, since of course they didn't see eye to eye ideologically, but it wasn't like a completely distinct front that split off from the Republic. I think it was even just that the Trade Union Council in Barcelona just said that they would fight against the fascists and wouldn't fight against the Republic, but didn't necessarily fight on the same side, so to speak.
right, which makes sense, right? I mean, you cannot
They just
necessarily
walked
fight.
into Barcelona and said, "Okay, anarchist, you just do your thing, and we'll not fight you."
Yeah, and that's the status quo for a while, right? Until,
Yeah,
of course, in real history, well, the fascists won. Which
that's another thing.
sorry?
That's another thing. Yes, a right-wing reactionary government won the civil war, but the actual fascists are now on the map. That's the military junta that will soon be taken over by the Primo de Rivera. But Franco just used the fascists to install his own vision of a reactionary Spain,
Yeah.
which wasn't necessarily adherent to any of the doctrines of fascism.
Yeah, right. Because we
You get what I'm saying, right? So yeah, sure, he was right wing, he was reactionary, he was
a horrible
bad dude.
person. Yes, yes, sure.
Like a really bad person.
Make him you have to be a bit more nuanced with those things, right? You don't want to call him a fascist if he doesn't.
Okay, yeah, no, absolutely, no. It really is my lack of understanding of this particular period.
In contemporary Spain, Franco is still seen as someone who persecuted minorities and used the
I mean,
to oppress.
they removed his body from like his own tomb like last year. So I mean,
Yeah, but I think that they did the same thing with José Primo de Rivera.
no,
So
he's still there. He's still there.
didn't they exhume his body?
So-
Oh no, they moved the statue. I
so-
guess they
Yeah.
José Primo de la Vera is the person who was leading the junta.
No,
Or-
he was.
Oh, he died.
He was still in prison in I think a few.
Maybe
days.
if you pause the game, we can explain this a little bit more.
Sure,
Yeah, I'm getting lost in. I'm
I'm
getting
losing
lost.
anyway. I'm bunkering down in the hills and. Hoping.
Yeah, I'm coming to your rescue. I'm cutting off the. I'm trying. So maybe if you switch over to a nationalist Spain, Angus.
Yeah, sure. So as I said, I can't really see much when it comes to their leaders, as you can see.
No, but you can. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of
kinda
weird, isn't it?
annoying.
So what I could do, I could probably like take over. I think.
Yeah, but you can't pop back out. I think so.
Probably not, right? Unless I use
So-
the console, probably. But
And yeah,
and we
but
don't
I
want to.
think if you look at the focus tree, maybe you could look at the focus tree.
Sure. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Suspend the constitution. That sounds like a reactionary thing.
A real
to do.
fascist thing
Yes,
to do. Yeah.
exactly.
So the Franco isn't there right now. The AI has to make a decision to include Franco or exclude him from the United
Yeah.
States. And to get the proper fascists in power, they have to send him away to the Canary Islands. So that's
Yeah,
what
so
they did.
so Franco fought for me on the Republican side when, like, the first two split happened. He was a field marshal in my army.
Right,
So-
yeah, since he is, I think, stationed somewhere with the Army of Africa, or at least working with them, since it's actually quite an interesting bit of history that I wanted to look more into. One of the generals for nationalist Spain and for Falangist Spain, once you switch over, is a Moroccan. So he's from Spanish Africa.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what his name is, and I can't look at it now since I'm not
So,
fighting it.
Right here we have martyrdom for Primo de Rivera.
Yeah.
Founder
So
of the...
ba-
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So basically, Primo de Rivera was a Spanish noble family, I think, because his father was also a general, and he was the military dictator during the Last Kingdom. So during the time of the Kingdom of Spain, which was what's his name again? Alfonso, I think.
That's right.
One
Yeah.
of the kings. So and he was his son, and basically he's the one the Spanish fascists took all the stuff from.
Well,
So he was
at least
like,
he is the theory guy. So he
yeah,
invented a lot of theory around corporativism and his ideology around phalangism, which is basically just a state run by. It's called corporations, but it's more like guilds. So you
Guild.
have
Okay. So that's what the phalanx is in this particular setting. It's not a military phalanx in that sense. It's a guild.
exactly, yeah. And
Yeah.
Franco, to put it bluntly, just stole all of his theories.
Okay, and then
I mean, yeah. So Primo de Rivera was imprisoned by the Spanish Republic, and also shot by the Spanish Republic somewhere after the Civil War happened, or just during the Civil War. So he was like dead before the war
Yeah.
ended, and then the Franco indeed took all his ideas,
Yeah, and he also
they like became a martyr.
his former ideological adherents into his own, basically. So he said that I'm going to pick up the mantle of Primo de Rivera and I'm going to avenge the crimes of the Republic and so on and so
Yeah.
on. So it was a very powerful propaganda tool.
Basically, what I read on Wikipedia is that he kind of compared to Lenin in Stalinist Russia, Soviet Union, as in someone who's not really there anymore, and is also, I mean,
Yeah.
Stalin and Lenin weren't the best friends. I mean, everyone knows that they kind of disagreed. I think that's something which kind of also happened with Franco and this dude, as in
Primo de
Franco.
Rivera,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much they interacted before de Rivera was shot. I think it was something that Franco just decided to adopt to make his front more united, and then it kept going during his regime well into the 1980s.
Yeah, and I think Ares now has a very interesting point on Phalangism being fascist or not in the chat. It's like there's some discussion about if Phalangism is fascist or not, because, well, maybe it's just ultra conservative. Yeah, I mean, sure, it could still be fascist.
The discussion was more about if Franco himself was a Phalangist, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing if Phalangism was fascist. It definitely was. I think that they even said so in their manifesto. But it was just, my point was that the doctrines of Phalangism and the vision of Spain under Phalangism under Primo de Rivera all died in real life because Primo de Rivera was shot by the Republic. And in Hearts of Iron, you could, in theory, if you win as the Phalangist, you could create his vision of Spain instead of Franco's. It's also why if you go with the United Front route, Franco is
So to look when looking at the decision tree, right now we're in the phalanx ascendant route, right? Sin Paquito and Con Paquito. So that seems to be a big split.
Franco, exclude Franco.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, no Franco. They said no Franco, and now they're just going at it alone. So Franco is therefore de facto not part of any of the factions here.
I think he goes to the Republic, but
I think he's Republic. He's in the Republic now.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of weird.
Another reason to maybe destroy the Republic.
But honestly, what's weirder is that the way you get the back is by doing a prisoner exchange with the Republic. So you just knock on that door and say, "Hey, here's a couple of your guys. We'll get our leader back." So that's a very flimsy historical excuse to not have Primo de Rivera die in prison.
Yeah. So Barra del Jim says in chat that it's because Franco was not sure to join the coup until a few days before.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is where I'm really out of my depth. I really don't know this. I mean, I know who Franco is, but that's where it stops.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So basically, this was the coup moment, and then here Franco said, no coup, yes coup. Okay. Or actually the other way around.
So yeah, and the middle focus part, which is the United Nations Front, that's where Franco is there. So that's directly under Con Paquito.
Yeah, exactly. And this is more or less the it doesn't seem to be the real historical route in that sense, because
the middle part where Franco unites all the nationalists behind him. So he used Primo de Rivera's legacy to get the Phalangists to rally behind him, and then he also adopts some of the positions of Carlism. and
Yeah.
he makes.
Yeah.
Most importantly, I think he also puts the regency in place. So he says that he's the regent for a king to be.
Yeah.
And that is something that Franco managed to just keep doing until the 1970s.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, and Jochem is playing the right one, which is the communion stuff.
In
Yeah.
the hills of,
Okay. Right. So this is this is the car lists.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Makes sense because you actually have to run that flag, of course. Okay. So in that sense, this focus tree actually split into two parties. It's not that the supremacy of the communion has its own entire focus tree. It's just working in a different area of the focus tree.
Yeah. So,
Right?
but Jochem only sees the right part of the focus tree, I think.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
the
No,
thing is just that
it
there's
doesn't
this
seem to be the
distinction
case.
between the split
I mean,
was-
oh no, you can see either the left or right part. Yeah, that's true.
And you only see your own very own special.
No, I only see the right one, so as well. So yeah, no,
Okay.
that's not true what I just said. You should ignore that.
Alright. Okay, cool. That makes a bit more sense now. Thank you also, people in the chat. If you look at Simpakita, it says they call him Miss Islas Canarias. Okay, I'm gonna have a little look at that as well. Well, you can keep on.
I press play again. So
yeah, absolutely. Go on, play now.
I'll try to help Jochem out a little bit with some of those damn units.
Well, so long as I can stay on the defensive, I should be fine. It's just that since I started with so few troops and I decided to push on and then didn't manage to capitulate to the nationalists fast enough, I can't really do much now. I can just wait until my manpower goes up, and hopefully the guys can start helping me out later.
Please, Willem.
Yeah, I mean, we're both non-aligned, so technically speaking.
I mean, I'm not aligned as well, so.
Yeah, but yours is a sub-ideology of. I guess it's the paradox's inability to create a new ideology for anarchism.
Yeah, that because basically it would mean a rework of the entire game, which makes sense because it like. No, I don't want that. Yeah, okay, sure.
Mods do it. Guys like has I think 12 ideologies.
Yeah, I mean I get it that mods do it, but I think as a modder you can get away with a lot more stuff than Paradox can.
It's in a way, right? It's true that mod teams are much larger than the core team that's working on Hearts of Iron 4.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Unless they've expanded their staff in the past few years, I think it's only 4 people working on Hearts of Iron.
Yeah, which is like I mean, of course they have the engine underneath running, and
they know why they can keep the skeleton crew, since they know that all the good developments in Hearts of Iron come from mods anyway, and those 4 people can just focus on pumping out DLC content.
Which are also good, I'm guessing, good.
Well, they can make mechanical changes and do stuff with the engine that modders may not have skill for, or they have to jury rig something into the game that would be exclusive to their mod. So, for example, the resistance and compliance mechanic that came with the DLC, where the Spanish Civil War was also reworked. That is something that.
Yeah, that's La Révolution.
La Révolution.
Okay, well, yeah, but that's something a modder wouldn't just be able to make, I think.
Yeah, it requires in-depth knowledge of systems and also knowing how to work those systems and how to edit those systems and how to add new systems, because that's basically what they did. Also, the espionage stuff, that's something I think
that's
substantially difficult to make if you're not like part of Paradox.
So I got a real quick UI question. I mean, I can see the colors, of course, but I'm still getting relatively confused by some of the borders in particular. So what is the sort of the flashing orange border area? What's that about?
I literally have no idea, but I think that's the maybe Jochem knows, but
no,
it's something only in the Spanish Civil War.
Okay.
It is indeed something exclusive to the Spanish Civil War, but I don't know what it does either. It might be something.
I think it's the regions where you can launch an offensive.
All right,
or
so that's that's really the only place where you can sort of go. Is sort of what you're saying?
No, yeah, I'm not really sure, but it's got something to do, or it being the core territories where the certain groups popped up. That could also be the case, but I really don't know. Actually, I'm just talking shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, fine. As long as I'm not sort of missing something important, because I also don't really see them moving a lot. But yeah, I have to say, you're doing pretty well, Omar.
Well, I'm at the point where I'm like, actually, I can't really advance any further because
No.
I don't have enough troops now.
Yeah, I see. But I mean, it's sort of a
Neither can you.
stalemate. Go. Oh, well, not. They're actually still pushing a little bit. I can see in my in my
Yes,
view.
Yeah, so this is actually, I think, one of the downsides of Hearts of Iron as the game, as that you can easily win by just waiting it out. By just waiting it out until the enemy runs himself to death on your lines, and has no more either equipment or manpower left, and you can just like roll them over.
But I've also noticed that if the player doesn't interact with the Spanish Civil War and just hunkers down in a certain region and waits for the other factions to advance on each other, then nothing really happens.
Mhm.
At
Yeah.
least in my
Yeah.
history, it took 2 years for the Spanish Civil War to advance just a little bit.
I mean, now the game is also kind of in conflict because I, as anarchist, am not advancing upon Jochem, and he's not attacking me as well.
So the game's like,
Which is
hey,
something.
what's this about?
I mean, I could just roll in and just take his capital right now, but I won't because we just said we wouldn't. But that's of course something which wouldn't happen because we'd be fighting as well between us. I mean, AI would, and in game you would as well.
I saw that you just gained international brigades, so I'm sure Aris is happy to hear that one. So this is
So that
basically
means
the moment
yeah.
that Hemingway's no, Hemingway wasn't with the anarchists. Who was he? Was he with the anarchists? No, who was he? Who was he sort of with the battle lines? And Orwell was who are these people sort of generally aligned with? I guess I honestly don't remember.
Well, the way in which it went, I think, is that they were going there to support Republican Spain in general, and then encountered anarchists as they were somewhere in Barcelona or in regions where there were lots of anarchists together.
Right.
Because it wasn't so much that they could say that they were supporting anarchist Spain, since a lot of the internal conflicts that Orwell described in his book about the Spanish Civil War between the Stalinists and the anarchists aren't really played out in House of Iron, since they are kind of already over by the time that the split off happened. So the Republic, for
Right.
example, is still rule.
Yeah, no, it's I'm kind of messing up my fiction, Hemingway fiction, with what the person actually did. So in For Whom the Bell Tolls, he writes about an American fighting with the anarchists, but that's of course not necessarily the case that that's what he did himself. So honestly, I wouldn't really know. He was with the Republic. Okay.
Yeah. They wouldn't. I mean, they would maybe go there and then say that they were going to support the anarchist cause, and that's why they were siding with the Republic. But I don't know if there was ever a point where the Republic and the anarchists were just all out at war with each other.
Okay.
They got to that point anyway as a nationalist one.
So
Right.
Jochem, I'm sorry, I've killed 42 of your dudes. I'm so
But
sorry.
I'm building forts in the mountains, so by the time that those are done, nobody will be able to invade me anymore.
Oh yeah, I see. You're basically just holding. You're basically like the little village of Asterix and Obelix. But then
It's
you're
Corsica
called.
all over again. Oh no.
It's the island fortress of Corsica, but then it's called Bilbao, and it's in the mountains.
It's a bit unfortunate that it came to this, but it's to do with the fact that the Phalangists and the Republic and Omar's faction just all have way more divisions than me.
Yeah, no, obviously. So I think that's I'm not entirely sure if that's the case here because I don't know the game well enough. But in general, I want to say, I mean, we talked about this last stream as well, that in general it is still I have more men than you do, so I kind of win. Like maybe.
There are ways to go around that, but I don't have access to any of those, or paratroopers or Marines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in that sense, I was hoping and thinking that it would be a bit more sort of dynamic. Because, the Paradox games that I play, Europa Universalis, Crusader Kings, a bit of Imperator Rome, it's basically march your empire, your country, your army into a certain country, fan out, try take as much fortresses as you can, and that's about it. But so far, not really seeing much dynamic action. I just see very slow battle lines, or in this case, not really even moving.
Very slow. Very slow.
Yeah, they're not really moving.
Games in general, I think, especially when you're playing Kaiserreich. World War II there just tends to turn into World War I, Part 2. So
Yeah.
the moment the massive French and German army clash with each other, it grinds to a halt, and then nothing happens anymore.
So J.A. Pesco says, God is on the side with the most artillery/divisions. It almost sounds like this is an actual quote from a general, but I don't know. I'm not going to... I'm interested to know, Jay, if that's the case.
It sounds very George Patton-ish.
Yeah, it kind of does, I guess. So the brigades would send groups of the international brigades, would send groups of people to specific fronts, especially to fight alongside the POUM, the Republic. And these were a mix of mostly British, American, French. They would often form their own corps as well, with one of two Spanisto. The Spanisto. Spanish.
I misread that this first as well.
Yes,
What does it
Spanisto. I
mean?
was like, a
Spanisto?
nice new anarchist term, the Spanisto. But no, the Spanish to lead them. It was a Napoleon quote. Okay, that I will readily believe. I'm just going to Google it right now, because I need to know. God is on the side. All right. Napoleon Bonaparte. God is on the side with the best artillery, according to quote tab. 10 things Napoleon never said. Shannon said it. Here are 10 supposed Napoleon Bonapartes that did not. Okay, so maybe he didn't say it, but otherwise he did say it because it's way
Something
too
you get
cool.
about with the age of the internet, that quotes are made up and then put on the internet as being by a certain person, and it just gets spread around.
Exactly, and at the same
You
time,
can't really be sure he never said it, so maybe
that's
he did.
true. Maybe he did. Maybe he mumbled it in his sleep on a certain night, in a fever dream when he was in St. Helens.
With some lead poisoning, so I mean, it could happen.
Support. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say, but support weapons have been invented. Well, invented is not the right word, maybe.
Oh, wow, we can support these weapons.
Yes. What is going on with these purple Deuterinos over here?
Which ones? Like mine or?
Oh, that's also the Republic then. I'm still not getting the borders
Oh.
entirely right.
Let me just pause the game and look at what you're looking at.
So there's another. So
Yeah.
what is this?
So basically, what you're now seeing is my army composition. So basically, this is the how do you say it? Yeah, the kartelrand, like the zipper.
Use a zipper, sure.
That's an army. That's
yeah,
a
exactly.
front line of an army, and that's the army group. So basically, they have encircled this pocket of.
But
damn
why is it
Republicans.
purple then?
That's
'cause
just
this-
the color the game gives it. I can make it a different color. I can make it blue as well.
Okay. So basically, this is
It's-
just to
yeah.
identify battle lines.
Yeah, basically.
So there's not
that's-
identifying. So I see now. So yeah, okay, clear. Thanks. All right.
But this bucket is really annoying, so that's kind of.
It's happening like I said it would. The faction that you empower before the Spanish Civil War starts gets so many more divisions than the ones that you don't.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's the game wanting you to.
So Diogenes says, it's as Abraham Lincoln said, the problem with the internet is that it is difficult to verify the quotes that you find on it.
So maybe cool. I've now instated in my military stuff. I've instated the Infantry Military Council. So that's basically a group of people deciding on how we should fight. Because we're anarchists, we only take decisions with all of us.
So you don't have a general, but you have
I do have a general, but I also have a council of people.
who says, that's okay, general, that's not okay.
Yeah, or we're going to do this now. But it doesn't really work like that in the game because it's just
Because the game doesn't one person has to make the decisions, and that person is
Yeah.
the player.
Yeah, but basically this gives me a boost for my infantry division attack and defense. That's basically what it does.
Wouldn't it be much more?
One of those more complicated things can't be put into the mechanics that Paradox has made for this game. So most of those things are just translated into bonuses or attack power,
Yeah.
like that.
Everything in this game is translated into bonuses.
Yeah, that is the problem generally with strategy games, but particularly we're talking problems because these are still brilliant games, of course, but these are the things where they could be even more brilliant. So how cool would it be if now you have this council and all of a sudden your battle plan changes and you're like, wait, why? And then the council says,
What?
well, because we think
Because
it should.
we said so. Yeah.
Yes. and of course there are basically examples of mechanics like that in other Paradox games. Like, for example, your Council of Nobles, or your powerful nobles, powerful vessels in.
But most of the time, those still work with the same bonuses, right?
Yeah, but kind of not.
Maybe
So, for example,
something like that is very difficult.
yeah, but I mean, sometimes you have basically if you're the Holy Roman Empire, and then you have a lot of your people against you, and you want to push on certain edicts, then you really have to start convincing people, right? So I don't know, but not in the moment of battle. That's absolutely true. You're just the supreme commander always.
So just to keep you guys updated, my capitulation meter is now at 94%.
Oh,
Oof.
I can actually yes. Oof, my goodness.
Yeah,
This-
no, I started in such a precarious position, and I'm really trying to hold it down. But if that doesn't happen, I'll try to join back as the Phalanges and just take over as them.
Oh dear.
Hold on.
Hold
no.
on.
I may as
You do
well.
know that we.
Nazis.
I'm winning. Hello.
These guys.
Well, I can tell you, my dear Omar, that they are also. I mean, I'm sort of behind enemy lines here.
Come on. Ah, damn you.
They are definitely pushing here as well. These.
Yeah, but they almost made a fatal mistake. But
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
well, a couple of the Republic's forces cornered in Valencia, I see.
yeah, so what happens most of the time in these kinds of games is that the AI makes stupid mistakes, like leaving their front lines, and you should like massively exploit that by moving your troops at the right time and just encircling certain divisions.
Yes. Yeah.
So I almost got a hand of whatchamacallit, Valencia, but they were like just quick enough to like take
Yeah,
it
right.
back.
Yeah. Okay, I
You
see.
still have them on
But I'm
track.
also and now I'm
on-
cut off here.
So the AI makes massive.
Yeah, so it's
Imperator-
basically because I normally just pause the game when I'm like doing this.
Diogenes makes a very good point that Imperator Rome sort of does that with the armies controlled by characters that you can't influence. That's true. That's
But
absolutely true.
I did take Valencia, so haha.
Even that Imperator Home mechanic is still just a very clever re-implementation of mechanics that already existed. So it just
Yeah.
gives the AI control of certain aspects of your game. Which I mean, it's the most clever thing that I've seen in a Paradox game, but still, it's
Oh, that's a bold statement. But
yeah. I mean, normally speaking, what they add is just more modifiers and more stuff that's already working on the base mechanics.
yeah. No, yeah. I kind of see what you're getting at there. Yeah, this is a larger question, right? I think probably they are hindered now by an engine that is absolutely great at doing a couple of things, or in fact many things, but that is the Clausewitz engine. But that in the end is probably not going to be flexible enough to bring innovation to. I mean, at the same time, they don't really need to bring innovation because
They're
people.
already pushing it very far to its limits, and to be honest, especially in Stellaris, which is not a historical game, but the lead developer for that game has, I think, managed to fit multi-threading into the Clausewitz engine and
Yeah.
made a lot of performance updates that I think that if they carry those over to the rest of the games, that it would be to the benefit of all of them.
Yeah, right. So that sort of performance kind of thing, yes. But I'm talking more game mechanics that are really baked into it. I wonder if it. I wonder if it could hold it. I mean, I don't know the inner workings of the Clausewitz engine. I just know how it acts dynamically. But yeah, it seems to be that it does very specific things very, very, very well, and a lot of very specific things very well. But as you say, you have to go for clever coding tricks or clever, almost hacks of your engine to make it do unexpected things. So CK3 also does something similar, I believe. Still need to buy it. Well, can warmly recommend. It
You mean
seems
CK3 or the medieval Facebook simulator?
the medieval Facebook simulator. I can warmly recommend.
But there's a very good Vampire the Masquerade mod for CK3, right?
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet, but I think we memed about playing it once.
I've been meaning to try it myself, but it's just that I can't really find a cheap version of CK3, let's say.
No, it's the cheap version of Secret. I mean, that is selling way too well still, I think.
Yeah, and it's also one of their mainline titles now, so they wouldn't discount it.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
much.
makes sense.
As a matter of fact, I remember distinctly a couple of years ago, that they started raising prices of old Paradox games to, so to speak, account for inflation.
Inflation. But I mean,
Went from
CK2 is free now. So I mean, also kind of makes sense.
The cheap
Yeah,
version of CK3 is CK2. Yes.
Not true.
What are those Phalangis up to? Ferengis, the Ferengis. I'm just gonna call them Ferengis from now on.
they're destroying my front lines since I've been paying attention more to the discussion than the game. But
I think yes, you're still hanging in there, right? You're still hanging in there.
Yeah, I mean, you're still at 94%, so as long as you
yeah,
can
I
hold
think
that.
they haven't captured any of the cities that I was controlling yet. If they take
Yeah.
Bilbao or Pamplona, then I would probably capitulate, but we'll see.
Yeah, either one of those two, but yeah. I think if you just keep Bilbao, I mean, Pamplona will be a stretch if they take it.
My goal for this stream is to sit it out until.
I mean, you could move some of your forces from my border. I wouldn't attack you. I promise.
So we kind of. Oh wait, you're really in a very small. Yeah, it seems I can only go for the Spanish directory, and that's. Is that you? Wait, you are the Spanish directory, right?
No, I'm
No.
tiny bit of.
No, you're not. Yeah, okay. Why can I not get back into Carlos? Ah, there we go. Yeah, now I am. I guess your core area is sort of shrunk kind of bit. But you have sort of seemed to expand. You've with your army group 7, is it, or 1? That's been expanding a bit to the south, or am I wrong there?
No, that's not my troops. I've only been defending. But the Phalangists just outnumber me far too greatly, I think.
It does seem to be the case that the Spanish directory is.
We'll make our brave last stand, and then we'll attack switch over to the Phalangists instead. Just play as our enemy.
Your Carlist Spain, you're encircled there. My God, that poor division del Ejército de África is.
Those brave Moroccans are still fighting for God and their king.
They are absolutely still fighting for. Well, I don't know if it's for God, but then maybe for Allah and their king. But
it's just God in Arabic.
I stand 100% corrected, Jochem. Interesting that. Oh, there we're currently losing 6-5. Oh.
And they're surrounded on all sides, so they get a 50% penalty to attack and defense.
Which is big because 50%.
Yeah, they're just cutting my defenses in half, and I'm not getting supplies either. So, but we knew that this would happen. My initial uprising was too weak to stand a chance.
Yeah, I think this is something which just happens when you try to play this multiplayer, as in the game is rigged to having you play as one nation and then getting the bonuses from going through the focus tree.
It's actually something that might be worth discussing more. Just in general, that a lot of the stuff in Hearts of Iron 4 is designed to be played by one player.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything is designed with that design philosophy in mind. So if you have one country, then it has to be able to take over at least it's a whole region or the entire world in the most extreme case.
Mm-hmm.
And that design philosophy just carries over for all countries at the same time. So what you see now is if you turn historical focus off, then...
Which is off. So.
Which is off now, so... Germany right now has the potential to, I think, declare war on the United Kingdom, France, Italy.
I mean, they also have like when they're not.
Oh yeah, but I guess they always do. It's just that there's never a situation where your focus tree doesn't allow you to become super powerful.
Yeah. So for example, I did a playthrough of Germany in my free time, and I became democratic, as just the German Republic. Which is kind of weird because you can't declare war on anyone. As a democratic nation, you can't really declare war on anyone just
the whole
because you want to.
That is to join the Allies and then fight the Soviets, right?
Yeah, but the British became fascists. Oh no, they became non-aligned, and then eventually they joined the Międzyrzecz. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Yes.
And they attacked the Soviets, and then I was like, what?
There also seems to be something going on in Brazil in terms of... The Empire of Brazil is
rising up against Vargas. Since Portugal, for some reason, also became monarchist. They haven't restored their monarchy yet, but they are now helping.
Oh, I'm kind of losing. Oh damn! Those damn Phalangists are pushing.
Yeah, they are very strong for some reason.
Yes, they're gonna cut you off.
Yeah. I really need to move some units.
Yeah.
do it better than me,
Well,
but,
Yeah, it's also because those damn front lines are like, you know what?
Marco Polo Bridge incident. I think we've had this one already.
yeah, that's the kickoff for the Sino-Japanese War, I think.
Why can't let me move this line? Come on.
I remember. Ah, yes, I remember. They apologized in this case. Why can you not move this line? I mean, you're doing pretty well. You've more or less.
Look
I
at
mean,
the front.
your front is weirdly shaped. Absolutely.
No, but look at like the northern front is open. They can just walk into Madrid and they're not.
Yeah, they don't know how to capitalize on that, I think.
Yeah, so that's something I pointed out before. The AI just doesn't capitalize on stupid mistakes or stupid AI mistakes, whereas as player you can just waltz in when they like leave their lines.
Yeah, but at the same time, the AI does have a couple of qualities that the player doesn't. For example, they, as far as I know, completely ignore naval supremacy. So you've probably seen this before, that they keep naval invading you if you have any coastal provinces, even if there's no ships from their side patrolling the coast. So they can just keep peppering you. If you're playing as an African country, especially, it's incredibly annoying to be bombarded with Marines all the time, because the AI just sends them without any regard for if they have any ships in the region. Although I don't know if they can use paratroopers. I don't think they can.
The AI? I'm
Yeah,
not
I've
sure
already
either.
seen them use them. And we can't really try in this scenario either.
No, we'll never get to the point where we're like really. It's
Yeah,
also just when I'm playing this in my free time and just single player, I'm used to like pausing the game for certain actions.
Yeah, me too. It's quite disorienting.
So I think one of the things, the reasons maybe that I cannot see a lot of your generals, because I, for example, can see quite a couple of the German generals. I think that's probably simply because I don't have the DLC installed.
No, if that's the case,
Yeah,
then
but you could play it.
Come again.
AI,
All right. You know what, Jochem, tell me.
yeah, we need to make some kind of rule for this, that we speak in turns or something.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, no, I think that it has to do with the fact that the German AI is computer controlled and we are players, so it deals with it differently.
No, because I can also not really see for example, Portugal. I can also not really see, and I
that's
can see
weird.
France. So I think it probably simply has to do with the fact that I don't. Oh, somebody invented a computing machine. That is nice.
It's not me.
No, it's France because I just selected them.
But I think maybe the you not having DLC kind of makes sense because this is something which only is in DLC, so you can like see what's happening but not see like the portraits because they're in the DLC.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What is this? What did I just click?
You destroyed the game. No.
Rescue map mode, terrain map mode. No, this doesn't seem to be it.
Take that, you damn Spanish.
This is such a paradox game moment for me. I clicked one country and all of a sudden I'm like in this map mode that the allies. Okay, now I see allies and
yeah. So you pressed fraction mode. So if you press F1, you can go back. I don't know which one.
All right, thank you. Yeah, okay, F1. That helped. Thank you, sir.
But basically, the Spanish did the thing again where they're like, those front lines? Yeah, we're not doing those anymore. We're just leaving them.
Yeah, exactly. It's the what do you call it? Spain. So the Republic is they have this very long arrow that you probably cannot see into your territory, but it's like a hopeful arrow. It's like, nah, maybe
in future we could do this.
We could do this. That said, Omar, I think that there is a very strong purple arrow pointing straight to the northern section of your territories. That is for sure.
Well, they've almost capitulated. They're at 89%.
Yeah, so I'm trying to capitulate the
if you get a few more VPs, it should be over very
Yeah,
quickly.
so that's what I'm trying to do, to have them capitulate before they like
I mean,
do other stuff to me.
you've taken Malaga already. You've taken all the big cities basically
Yeah,
already.
so
Sevilla,
that's my point.
Grenada. I mean, Murcia. I guess that would be Alicante. That could be. But that's really the last. Almeria. I wouldn't. Well, I mean, I haven't actually visited Almeria, but I wouldn't think that is the most important town to sort of pitch your
And
national
also,
pride.
the more stuff I capture, the less, the more troops I can set to the north. So the more stuff I capture here.
Yeah.
Well, and as soon as you actually capitulate them, you also get all of their equipment and.
Yeah, and their
nothing.
factories and all their other good stuff.
Well, meanwhile, in the remnants of the Carlist front, I think that now that they're sieging down Bilbao, it shouldn't take very long before.
Well, I think that as you said it's no, exactly. Before you have to capitulate, because with Pamplona, the province Pamplona alone, I don't think much is gonna happen. It could become some sort of I don't know, like partisans.
Well, not to sound too delusional, but technically speaking, if I wait long enough and just keep upping my conscription laws, eventually I'll be able to conscript basically everyone in Pamplona. And then if someone sponsors me with infantry equipment, I could just make an army that's bigger than everyone else has at the moment. But it's a matter of time, and I don't have that much time left.
Come on, capitulate.
I think I think that is. But that said, not to give the game away, but you have still have some troops not in Bilbao. Why is that? Is that to
make sure that I don't get invaded from the other side? But I mean, we've agreed not to.
Yeah, had everybody. I mean, this is kind of exciting. I don't know who to follow right now. The last stand of the Carlists in Bilbao, or
the final push of the
final push of the Anarchists.
Just move into Murcia. Come on, do it. You want it.
Move into Murcia. If I can actually, because I'm still focused on the Carlists. Yeah. Oh, almost. They've moved into Murcia, and Alicante is.
Come on. 99%. Come on.
The 99%. I also cannot see that. I think, by the way.
If you oh yeah.
Make it happen. Follow both. All right. I'll try to follow both. So things are heating up over here. In the still final stand of Bilbao, we can see that the Observer has had some influence on military policy, and we see a shoring up of defenses across the entire western front here in Bilbao and the province of Pamplona. Clearly things are not looking good for the Carlists. I think their dream of a retro monarchy is a bit too far.
Quickly crumbling. Yeah.
Quickly crumbling. It's a little bit like with with Star Wars and the New Republic.
Hold on. Let me just pause the game.
All right. Oh, and it has happened. It has happened. The Treaty of Madrid. So the Regional Defense Council of Aragon took 8 states. Spain was annexed. 1342
annexed or annexed?
Annexed. Spain was axed is basically what happened. So tell me, well, not comrade. Wait, what are you again, Aris, as an anarchist? Not a comrade. But well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Dear fellow anarchist Omar. Comrade still, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, blanked on that. Comrade. So, Comrade Omar, what goes on in your mind right now as you take this huge step for anarchists everywhere, but particularly your own anarchists?
Let's kill some fascists.
Let's kill some fascists. So, but
I didn't want to click that. Sorry.
But before we do that, what was your general battle plan of the council, and how was it sort of executed? Did everything go according to plan?
The general plan was pray. No, we don't pray here.
We don't pray.
No, like I said, in Heart of Iron, it's kind of easy to exploit AI mistakes, and I think that's what I try to do. But now something really stupid happens. Like when something like a war happens, your entire army wants to like switch around, and it's so annoying.
What do you mean when does it want? I mean, it definitely wants to switch
So
around because
it withdraws the entire battle line. So all your divisions are like, well, I was here now, but according to this plan, I need to go there now, which is entirely at the other side of the country, which will mean I would lose my entire movement and my entire everything.
So I
So
only have one question for you, my dear anarchist. The Fourth International, a number of the communist delegates from around the world met in Paris today for a founding conference, laying the groundwork for what has been known as the Fourth International. Call for its formation have existed for years, with supporters of Trotsky's theories taking the lead. Interesting. Stalin has responded to the growing support for Trotskyism abroad by ordering additional assassinations and increasing propaganda against his old rival.
That sounds very Stalinist, yeah.
With the past purges of suspected Trotskyists in the high ranks of the Soviet military and leadership in recent memory, that is unlikely to be met with any resistance. How many internationals will there be? Well, that is hopefully many, many more. As somebody who has more tendencies like that than that. So I have a question for you, though, still, my friend and my comrade Omar.
Still comrade, yeah.
Why is there this little tip of Spain that is not part of the anarchist?
Because those damn imperialist British.
Exactly. So, but isn't it time to sort of fix that problem?
Yeah, I don't really want to declare war on Britain. I mean, if you want me to fail miserably, then I could, but I can't yet. I think.
Where's your pride? Where's your pride in the people?
But I think eventually I can. Like when I walk through the entire focus tree, there's this anarchism knows no borders, plant the seeds of revolution. What would happen is you can declare war on countries really easily. Then you can like instigate uprisings, anarchist uprisings in countries, which is pretty cool.
So the real question now is,
what happens?
What? Yes, that is the real question. It's almost always the real question. What is gonna happen to the Carlists? Will your pressure on the front from the south be enough to give at least temporary relief to the beleaguered retro monarchists?
I think the point is I can't really attack. So I cannot attack, but I can also no protect. So
no. So why can you not?
Because if I like push now, they outnumber me. I think in divisions, kinda. They also have not kinda, but I think they have more men in the field. They also have more equipment. I mean, without weapons, a soldier can't fight.
Yeah. So you need some. So basically, you're tactically telling our dear friend Guthixian that he has to sort of solve this problem by himself.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting until I get some more guns because I need guns.
It does seem to be the case that Bilbao has almost fallen.
Oh no!
I've already looked up the historical course of events for this, and I think that it's time for my jefe, as he's called, to relocate to Lisbon and go hang out with Salazar instead.
You mean Falcondo? Yeah.
Yeah, no, his official title was jefe or chief or something, I think.
Yeah, being a bad dude in Portugal.
Well, at least I can hang out with the rest of the bad dudes, since Salazar is apparently also keen on restoring the monarchy himself.
So one thing that I'm interested in, now we're talking about Portugal, which I've never truly understood, is the role of Portugal in all of this. Was it pushing certain factions? Was it sort of very happy to be left alone? What if you know, or anybody in the chat knows, I'd love to know, because I've always been very fascinated.
I honestly don't know.
By this.
I think Bilbao has fallen.
Yes, it does appear that way.
Still not a 100% capitulation progress, though.
No, so I think they
blown on and see what happens. But yeah, Angus, to answer your question, just going by what Hearts of Iron displays in the game, Salazar sided with the nationalists first of all and sent some volunteers there, but he was mainly focused on helping out Franco. And I think that as soon as the Spanish Civil War was over, there was also some talk of closer collaboration between Spain and Portugal, but that never materialized outside of just economic treaties and mutual non-aggression.
Okay.
I mean, by then, after the end of the Second World War, Salazar and Franco were kind of relics of an old order, so of authoritarians and of reactionaryism, while the rest of the world, with Nazi Germany gone, was moving more towards liberalism and democracy, and they kind of had to hold out together against the United States and liberalizing influences from the outside.
Mhm.
Yeah. So when I went to Portugal, I think it was in 2015. I was in my second year of university. And basically what we found out there as students of history, they just don't talk about it. It's like
They don't talk about the
it's
Second
like,
World War.
no, they don't talk about the Salazar period, as in, yeah, but things were good back then.
Right. So,
That's kind of the sentiment.
Salazar is then he's also a bad dude, or
I mean, he was a bad dude, yeah, and
Like with Franco, it depends on how you look at it. He wasn't. I mean,
it depends who you
fascist
ask. Yeah.
Portugal was as repressed by him. Honestly, no. Let me start off. I think you can compare him more to Putin than to an actual fascist. He was just not interested in supporting an ideological faction. Since you have monarchists under his wing, he had fascists, he had traditionalists, but he was more interested in just staying in power and keeping the country stable, while its colonial empire was experiencing a lot of insurgencies. So that's, in my opinion at least, why I think he is remembered so fondly, since he was most known for his stabilizing factor.
There's some plenty of information actually in the chat by James Birmingham. Thank you, sir. On the outbreak of the Spanish Civil War, the Portuguese government of Salazar immediately supported the nationalists in the struggle against the Popular Front government in Spain. Salazar feared that if the Republicans won the war, his own authoritarian government would be under threat, which, could
kind of
very
makes sense.
So Salazar, concerned about the effect the events in Spain would have on his country, established a new militia that would serve as an auxiliary police. This new police force arrested dissidents and removed politically unreliable people. Okay, I can see where you're going to go with your Putin analogy there. So leaders of the National Army were allowed to negotiate with representatives from Nazi Germany in Portugal. Okay. So after the signing of the non-intervention agreement in September 1936, Salazar agreed that Germany could disguise the aid that it was giving by sending men, planes, tanks, and munitions via Lisbon. So Salazar's police also arrested supporters of the Popular Front government and living there. He also sealed off the Portuguese frontier to Republicans. Okay. So, although he came under considerable pressure from Britain and France, Salazar refused to allow international observers being stationed in the Portugal-Spain border. Officially, he claimed it would be a violation of Portugal's sovereignty, while in reality, he did not want the world to know about the large amounts of military aid that was crossing into Spain. Hey, thanks. That is
more than I ever knew about Salazar and the Second World War.
Yeah, absolutely.
Civil War.
And I'm not entirely sure how that is represented because I don't know these. I'm looking at the Portugal focus tree right now.
Yeah, well, the nationalists can receive aid from Portugal, but it doesn't go much further than just...
I can take over Portugal as well. So, I mean...
Well, yeah, but I think so can I, and so can the nationalists eventually.
Yeah. In this game, Portugal is more like the playing ball of Spain than it is actually being able to do something. I mean, they could do something, of course, but it's more like...
Something now. If you look at Brazil, they're attempting to overthrow Vargas and install a monarchy there.
Right, so right now they're going with the Estado Novo kind of branch. It seems the return of Duarte.
I don't know where Duarte is though. At least I think that there's a portrait for him in the expansion that added this content, right? So the Duarte, for context, Duarte II, I think, was the heir to the throne of the Portuguese monarchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the branch that goes with the monarchy and the empire of Brazil and sort of that sort of larger Portuguese influence. We're rebuilding that.
I think that they're the Braganza line, right? If I remember correctly.
Well, I would say yes from my Crusader Kings knowledge, but Just some quick educated googling, lol. Well, absolutely. Thank you for
That's the
being
best kind,
your.
that's the best kind of googling, right?
That's you've got good Google foo for sure. All right, let me. It's fun looking at these focus trees, but let me have a little look at where the action is at the moment.
The Anarchists have launched a new offensive. That's where the action is at.
Oh, you have sort of. I mean, I can definitely see that that's where the action is at. You've actually made some inroads already. That's the cardist that I'm looking at now, and it's interesting that they're still trying to sort of I wouldn't even call it outflank you, but they really, really, really want to attack. I think probably what is the last vestiges of Carlist resistance, basically through your northwestern flank. That's what they're just attempting to do, which is fascinating.
I like
tactic.
there's like this little slither of anarchist country.
Yeah, exactly, and they just need it for attacking the Carlists that they just hate with their entire. So I think by holding the line here, the Carlists have actually helped out the anarchists quite a bit. And so in fact it's the other way around. So
Yeah, well, I've at least distracted the Italian volunteers as well, since we see them on my front lines.
yeah, the
Well,
wiki crunch button is at 0 because I haven't done really any googling. Really, only I've done it once. I've looked at Ernest Hemingway's and his anarchist tendencies, but
I mean, I've done plenty of googling and Wikipediaing before this. So
I mean, if you're co-hosting, then you have to tell me if you're doing that. So, but only
before,
only
so
during
not
only
when
during.
we're playing. So
Absolutely. But hey, the way to fix that, Aris, or anybody else in the chat, is to ask us difficult questions that we cannot answer. That's just the way. That's just the way this game works.
Intimate familiarity with the history of the Spanish Civil War, then please grill us about everything we're doing wrong.
Well, I think we're doing wrong, as in the anarchists never took over this big chunk of Spain.
But how can it be wrong if it feels so right?
Yeah, I mean that's true.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. So,
So,
what is the? Oh, wait. Palma de Mallorca is owned by the Spanish Directory.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
They needed somewhere to go on vacation, so.
I mean, where did you think that the Miss Palma, the Miss Mallorca, what was he called again?
No, that's the Miss Canarias. That's
yeah, okay, yeah.
Which are also in fact the Spanish Directory.
So this is something I read before on
Yeah.
Wikipedia. That like two of the three islands were taken by the Directory, but one of them was still in Republican hands, and then they retook them again, and it was like a back and forth between different stuff. But if you look at the Spanish enclave or region in Africa, so not Morocco but lower.
Yes, I'm checking that out right now.
That's mine. That's also where there's also a battleship there.
yeah. I see. You basically have this tiny little naval base of Sidi Ifni, and then you have basically what is now what do you call it? Morocco. I forgot now. Spanish.
Mauritania.
No. Isn't it? God, now I need to be wiki crutched on basic topography. It's getting late.
But I do have the pride of the nation.
The Western Sahara. Isn't it called the Western Sahara?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So
no,
what?
It's not Gibraltar now.
No, not Gibraltar.
That's British, those damn imperialists.
I'm talking about this. This is the Western Sahara. That's what this. It's not. It's occupied by Morocco, I think.
Speak for yourself. You're not giving the people of Equatorial Guinea their freedom either.
Oh my goodness!
Not yet, no.
As an anarchist, you're also a colonialist. What is this about, my friend?
Where have we seen that before?
Oh my goodness!
I would if I could, but the game won't let me. I can't release a nation. Is an anarchist government I may not release or puppet nations.
Or puppet nations.
I cannot release or puppet nations.
Penalty to release Equatorial Guinea, but there's mods for that, of course.
So what else have we? Does the Spanish Directorate
control? Well, the Canary Island. I mean,
yeah, I thought maybe. Not the Canaries are in fact controlled by. Oh, that's the Cape Verdes.
No,
Portugal.
that's Spanish directory.
Sorry, yes, Spanish directly. But what else do you control then? That's
I
it?
control so good chunk of Spain, the part in Western Sahara and Equatorial Guinea, and I think that's it.
The Seychelles, is that also yours? It's sometimes hard for me to...
I don't think it is.
No,
It-
the Seychelles are British.
Okay, okay. All right. It's a bit hard to... Okay. Japan declared war on China.
My scroll button is broken and it's so annoying.
So, this is, of course, also something that China
China
joined.
joined. Oh, that's
Okay, then.
juicy.
Oh, that's new.
That's something which doesn't happen.
Western Sahara, Mauritania. Thank you, James. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I said, Mauritania.
Yeah, you
fine.
did say
I was
Mauritania.
right all along.
Yeah. You were right all along, but I was also trying to get to the Western Sahara name. I mean, it seems to me by territory alone, you're doing pretty well for yourself. Regional.
I mean, this is the part where victory isn't guaranteed yet, but it's getting closer.
Yeah, for sure. How can I? Well, let me have a look at the National Directorate. Why can I not?
Come on, game, let me do this.
Yeah, exactly. So this observer mode is it's interesting, absolutely, but it kind of I feel right click to move to location. No, I want to just inspect the. Maybe I'll just do it like this then. Why can I not do it? I wanna. I can only be the regional defense council.
You can remove the fog of war, but I don't know how you do that. Oh yeah. So at the bottom right, there's like this eye icon. If you click,
Yeah.
Toggle displaying fog of war. It should have you see more things.
No, that's the operative. Oh wait, sorry there. Okay, toggle displaying fog of war. Absolutely. Okay, that I cannot even. Right. So that's why I couldn't really see what was going on in places like this, I guess. But I'm still, aside from all of that, communist China is also on the rise. It seems already. I still cannot. There we go. Now finally I can switch again to.
You can see stuff.
I can see stuff. Thank you, sir. Or thank you.
Thinking waffle. Nice.
Thinking waffle. My goodness, you'd be in danger with me around, even if you were a thinking waffle, because I do love me some waffles.
But is Thinking Waffle in our Twitch chat right now?
Yeah.
Isn't he one of the developers for Kaiserreich?
I have no idea.
You tell me,
tell
my
us.
friend.
As far as at least he was active in the mod community. I'm not quite sure what he did exactly, but he made a couple of mods, I think.
Oh, this is. I'm very much enjoying being an observer in your game, but I know very little about the extended community. However, if you are, you're even especially welcome, and if you're not, then Thinking Waffle, you still have a very cool nickname, and you've been very helpful. So we really like you hanging around in our chat. Please hang around longer and tell us all the stuff that we're that I'm
Doing
getting
wrong.
that I'm getting wrong, because I
Since we'll be playing Kaiserreich then.
yeah, absolutely.
Death of Road to 56. Aha.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With Road to 56 is another big mod, Angus. It's a pretty cool mod
It's
as
not a
well.
mod pack though, right? It's a combination.
Yeah,
Of
it basically just elongates the game until 1956. That's basically.
So
kind of the
I have.
gist.
We were just talking about how it sort of grinds down, grinds to a halt after 5 years, the engine. So you did something amazing then, because you apparently made it. You extended it all the way to 1956.
No, I think it's just making content available to 1956 for the mod.
Yeah.
usually of
So like the
PC.
research trees go on longer.
Yeah,
For example.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Come on, move into Valorant. Come on, you want it.
Well, welcome, Thinking Waffle. Really cool to have you here, and love to hear more about your experiences as a as a modder, or in particular, I think that Jochem or Carlist in the corner over here
That's Carlist in the corner.
would wouldn't mind a chat a chat with you maybe at some point, right? You could talk about that a lot. So Jochem, you're working on you tell me you tell us what you're working on for as part of your internship for the Value
If you want to
Foundation.
pause the game, please say so, because then I'll just pause the game. But
well, all I'm doing is defending my position. So
yeah, so sure, I'll just continue winning.
No, but yeah, I mean, long story short, I am working with Value to develop a Hearts of Iron mod myself, but it's not for it's for the New Order, Last Days of Europe, and I'm working on their African content to make an expansion to make it more in line with plausible alternate history and to include some more primary source research into most of their flavor events and just to improve the experience, to make it a bit less of, if you're familiar with it, the African content in the New Order is basically just a Vietnam War analog in Africa, and I kind of want to move away from that and give more agency to Africans in it and to make more of a dynamic process of decolonization and whatnot. But yeah, I'm trying to overhaul the existing mechanics for that, and there's a lot of GUI stuff in it that I'm not sure if that's in Road to 56, but it's some of the most advanced things that exist in Hearts of Iron modding. And just if you happen to know how to mod GUIs, or you're familiar with how they developed, for example, the system with, well, you probably know what I'm talking about with Hans Huttig taking over all of Africa and then trying to maintain control over it dynamically. That system in particular is something that I wanted to take a look at. So yeah, just hit me up on social media or send us an email or something, and let me know if you're interested.
Yeah,
so you're making a Twitter account, right, Jochem?
Yeah, I will. I'll just make one tomorrow or something.
Or just reach out to us via Discord or via absolutely.
But for more direct communication, I've posted the article that I published today on Middle Africa and Kaiserreich on their subreddit, so my Reddit account is there.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we love at the Value Foundation for your specific, and everybody who's in the chat right now who doesn't know, is this weird collective of archaeologists, historians, and just generally people that are passionate about the past and games that want to come together and be somewhat organized in doing that coming together. So that's why we are actually a foundation. Doing stuff like this, live streaming, but also supporting internship positions like the one by Jochem, but also before that by Omar, and we're doing try to do a lot of other cool stuff, but the epidemic is also kind of getting us down when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm slowly trying to warm you guys up for the more complicated mods in House of Iron, since now I'm still playing the base game, but what I just talked about, it's already difficult to just concisely summarize what you can do in the more complicated mods for this game.
Yeah,
just so much content.
What I'll try to do, I think, hopefully over the coming week, or at least otherwise 2 weeks, I will actually start playing Hearts of Iron myself, the core game, a little bit. Just try and see if I can wrap my head around it a little bit. I'm like a bit, there's a bit of hubris there because I play Paradox games, so I can also play this one, but maybe that's not the case. And then I'm sure that I can be warmed up for some of the other more difficult, more complex mods even.
You want to hear something cool?
Yeah.
I'm winning.
Okay, so if the Valve
hey,
is
bye, Jay.
pause the game real quick because there's something that I need to discuss with Omar then. And it's very important. You'll hear about it soon.
I'll keep my hand on the pause button.
All right.
Oh, not yet though. I mean, feel free.
No, they're not there yet.
Pause the game. Why does the game need to be paused?
Because no, it's not. I need to win. I first need to win before I can pause.
Yeah, but it seems because you've really sort of encircled this. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're entirely encircled, but I guess that this will be a tough position to keep for the Mexico
that's the wrong
took 2
one. Ah,
states.
damn. I was like, that's it, but it wasn't.
No. The cars are still hanging out there.
You're like, yeah, just chilling here with my dudes.
There are still a lot of those directory. I want to say directorate the whole time, but don't pause the game then. Sorry, Aris, you're not in control. Omar is sniffing victory.
You should have been here, Aris, but no, you never want to do something with Paradox games.
Control Alt click to set a ping to allies. What does it even
I
mean?
like her just learning stuff about this game. Like,
Nice. Oh, so that's basically hey, let's ping that. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me. I really have to start playing this myself because it's kind of hard to see what the observer mode does and what other things do, right? That I have to say, Omar, this was a pretty quick victory in the end.
Yeah.
I thought there were. I mean, it was all on speed 3, right? Or was it some of it on speed 5? No.
It's all speed 3. Most
Yes.
of it, yeah.
And I think we're still on time with history too, since the Spanish Civil War ended.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Kind of
like
doing all right there, yeah.
I like that. I like that. It wasn't that quick, Angus. You just need to get good. I cannot get good. I'm the observer. I'm here, as I said, to
observe.
Observe and drink rum.
To attack and no protect.
Mm-hmm. To observe and no attack or protect. But 4-man streaming this would have been absolute chaos, and you know it. Yeah, but I still feel, Aris, that you would have been better placed as an observer than me, because you at least have an ideological stake in this battle, and I fear I do not. All right, let's. Okay, so there's a tiny little sliver of La Coruña still left, but the battle is very much done. It seems over here. You've taken what was once the heartland of the directory, Galicia, or at least that's how they started out in this particular game, and there's some difficult maneuvering of the directory. Basically maneuvering with no divisions that they're trying to do. The last territory in Burgos really looks like a snake that is writhing and crawling up to die.
It's like,
exactly. The head is now cut off the snake. It doesn't know it's dead just yet. But
it's at 71%.
I feel
La Coruña has fallen.
La Coruña has fallen. So in fact, the Anarchists control all of the west of Spain. Still,
the Carlists are there. They're almost bigger than.
Yeah, not to crash the party, but I think that since the Phalangists have a national spirit that sets their surrender limit twice as high as it's supposed to be, they're going to keep fighting on the islands and in Spanish Africa.
Well, that's too bad for them, because that's only one.
Maybe not though. I mean, Bilbao is worth 10 victory points, so maybe they'll just capitulate as soon as you get that. But there's a chance that they might.
So if Thinking Waffle is still hanging around in the chat, this could also be a very, very long answer. But how did you originally get started with modding? Did you start with Hearts of Iron or other games? And but if you started with Hearts of Iron, why did you start with Hearts of Iron? What do you think that really needed modding in Hearts of Iron? Just making it longer, or were there some other things that first got your attention?
Started Civilization 4.
Oh, nice.
Amazing.
Nice.
That's another game we know.
I have to say that Civilization 4 is not one of the games that I've put. Maybe I've put 100 hours in it, but I'm not entirely sure.
That's the game which got me into Civilization.
Yeah, no, of course, the best game in the series.
Oh, big words here.
Oh, that's
fighting words.
Yeah.
Fighting words.
I can back that up too. I don't know if you know about it, but there's this mod for Civ 4 that.
The Thinking Waffle made?
No, maybe. Did you work on Caveman to Cosmos?
No.
No, I'm asking Thinking Waffle. I can't read the chat, so I'm
okay, no, he didn't.
Okay, well, I mean, that mod goes from the moment where the first apes gain a semblance of humanity up until the point where you can ascend into the next dimension, and it emulates basically everything in between.
What?
Wow.
It's insane.
Okay.
I've
I
only played one full game of it, and it took me a month in real life. There's an absurd amount of content in it.
All right. This seems like it should be a streaming one more turn series of our live streams.
Maybe, but I don't know if we will be able to keep it interesting because you would have to play 1,000 hours, I think. Okay, maybe that's exaggerating, but 100 hours at least.
Well, I mean, on our play speed.
So Thinking Waffle basically found a mod, tried the mod, but there were bugs in the mod, and there was a guy making the mod, and and you gave advice on historical plausibility. Oh, that is nice. Then he disappeared, as modders sometimes do. But then I wanted to more and learn to do it myself. Oh, really cool. Can you pick which hominid to play with in that from apes to whatever cosmos mod?
Yes, actually.
Can you play one up? What? Wow.
The way they made the culture system is actually quite interesting because you invent culture like you invent technology. So you start out without culture and then you find certain things. So for Dutch, I think it was, I think it was spices and something else.
Okay.
Of course, right? Spices and banking, I think.
Oh, so you start out as a Dutch hominid.
Well, no, you start out as a normal faction, but then without the culture, and you invent cultures independently of who you are.
Okay. So you found cultures because as a hominid you find spice, and then you become Dutch. That I need to play this mod. I just need to do it. It sounds.
But it's a very crude explanation. But there's at least 100 cultures in it. So and you can invent multiple cultures.
I really wanted to play the Indo-Greek, so I integrated stuff from Civ Fanatics. Then started to tweak existing stuff, make my own. Nice. That is. It's thanks for sharing that story. It's really nice to hear how the ball gets rolling when it comes to modding. I've never, except for like tweaking the names of like the indigenous people in colonization in 1996 or stuff like that. I've never really done anything that you can really call modding it, but I do enjoy the output of the modding community. And I have a lot of respect actually for people that focus their time on that. It's something that I think is pretty cool. If I could clone myself or add a couple of days to the week, I would definitely
This
want
week
to.
now it's 10 days.
Yeah, exactly. Can you tell me, Thinking Waffle? Can you maybe mod the week? Can you maybe mod the week so that it has a couple more days? If you could do that, that would make me very happy.
Days.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness! Look at this! Look at this!
Look at this red mass of anarchism.
I mean, the phalanges. I mean, that's such a rotten word, but basically they weren't able to enjoy the Bilbao captured from the Carlis for that very, very long, since they now clearly have to yield it very soon to. We no longer get the effects from death before surrender. Oh dear.
Now they'll start surrendering again. What a shame.
Yeah. Oh, we're so close to surrender. Yeah, no. Ma.
You can change the calendar. We may be in year 22 or 5486 for all I know. Yeah, that is true.
I mean,
It does feel like that.
I mean, we're in year 22, like depending on from where you're counting. So I mean.
I'm in year 22 of my life. Can you not see?
I mean, I'm as well. I mean, yeah. Sure.
Oh my god, this is like Nazi Asterix and Obelix that are just holding out there in Bilbao, like what, the whole of Spain? No, not the whole of Spain. There was still a fascist little corner. Just
and some Carlists as well next door.
I mean, the Carlists, they basically you agreed to keep them as pets, right? That's what you decided to do.
In a constant state of war.
And you're like, no, this part of Navarra, this part of Spain, is where we have our museum of heritage, of monarchistic heritage, where you can go if you want to see how the olden days were, and then that's where the Carlists hang out, and they're like, yeah, long live the king. the question now is: Are you just hanging out? Wait, I have a bit of trouble selecting the.
Come on, just. Sometimes the AI is just
So there have been some sort of relatively threatening forces. French forces who are doing like.
They're just observing, I think.
push-ups along my borders. But
Yeah,
that's-
exactly. They're like.
yeah, that's so French of them.
Yeah, absolutely. If you ride into France right now, you know you'll see gendarmes doing push-ups all across the border with Belgium. That just it's such a weird thing that they let these animations let them do push-ups. Like, oh, that is.
Yeah, like all the time in space and effort you could pump into this game, you make like
you make an animation which makes
yes.
Okay, go ahead and
Suck,
play the game.
suck on that, you stupid fascists.
There we go.
I also paused the game just for you.
Yeah, so, I've been discussing things with my general staff over here, and we've decided to come up with a solution to the Civil War, which is beneficial to both of us. Since what I want to do is offer you peace, and then we'll divide Spain up in between the two of us, and you'll get half of it, and I'll get half of it, and then we'll call it a day for this war.
Yeah, but we anarchists, we don't do.
You don't do written contracts. All right.
But it's a direct commandment from God. At least that's what the generals told us. They said God has given you half of Spain.
We don't do God.
Navarra, as a small independent nation, is a tradition in Paradox Game.
But
That is
like,
true.
what
Think about it. Think about what it would mean for you to have half of Spain, and then the rest of it is ruled directly by God.
well, it's all mine now, so.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Inflated.
Okay. Well, time to invade us, France then.
Don't do that.
At least can I now tag switch to? Okay, I can.
you
Maybe I
can
as
you
France then.
you can play as France and you can just go for
You
it.
just play as anything now, yeah. But Aris, the anarchist one. I
No
told you it was
gods.
possible.
No masters. Wrecked. It happened. So what now? What now? What will you do now? My
The
dear?
domination of the world.
the
So-
same
so
thing
basically-
the same thing we do every night, Stimpy.
Yeah.
Try and conquer the world.
So basically, what you could do now is first you take Portugal, and when they say no, you just
Take
conquer
it.
them,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
eventually you move down to anarchism knows no borders, which basically
Wait,
gives you.
let me have a little little look. So in your focus tree, you've gone. Oh, okay. So over here. So you now
Yeah.
are going to go for Regional Defense Council of Iberia.
Yeah, that's something I just had to like research because I couldn't. Didn't want to do the Portuguese one, so next I'd do Portugal.
Yeah.
Portuguese anarchism, which gives Portugal the gives an event. Either they join me, or they have a civil war as well. Well, you
Yeah.
just basically win that one because Portugal is like 7 divisions.
Yeah.
And then you can reform as the Regional Defense Council of Iberia, which would become a new country.
Yeah.
And then you could have like the other. So
The inevitable counter blow. So that basically means they're gonna be well, you're gonna be invaded. It's kind of that's what you're gonna be focusing on, right? That the inevitable counter blow to anarchism.
Yeah.
Is there
so
any? There's no real major sort of split tree decision still, right?
No, so you move the left ones are mainly the infrastructure and fortress ones, and the right ones is like the so you'd get more. So the militarized people get you a lot of troops,
Yeah.
basically. So I now have 1.27 million people as manpower, so which I can train up.
That's a lot.
Then you'd have the anarchism knows no borders, which gives you support as well, and then you'd have Plant the Seeds of Revolution and Global Defense Council, which makes you the Death Star image I shared before.
Yes.
Basically, but Plant the Seeds of Revolution is pretty cool as it gives you the event or the decision you could make to have an anarchist uprising in countries you declared war on.
Right. Okay. and none of this is mutually exclusive. This is all stuff that you can do. Basically,
Yeah,
you're
so
not you're now
I
locked.
can do everything now. Yeah.
You're locked into this path. It really is not
Yeah.
very possible to do any of the other paths anymore, right?
Yeah, I can do the collective recovery efforts, and so I can do that one as well.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah,
the one
okay.
in between those two, but then
That's it. Yeah.
that's it. And then I'm down to the continuous focuses.
Okay, right. I haven't even seen those yet, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So I have to say though, anarchiststudies.org. Sorry for typo above. Nice. Non-profit. Okay, cool. Anarchist Studies, and it's very cool. We give grants for anarchist projects. Thanks. Hey, thanks for joining us, James. I think, if I remember correctly, I think we've seen this being plugged in our Slack channel before at some point. But
Probably.
Knowing
Aris.
Maybe someone wants to make an anarchist video game mod. I think Aris is definitely up for something like that. So, in fact, I'm also up for exploring those sorts of possibilities always. As I said, I'm not a modder, but I could be.
You're a twiner, so
I'm a twiner. I can do programming. I can do all sorts of stuff. If you make time for me, I can do all sorts of stuff. But yeah, hey, thanks for joining us. But what I wanted to say is, even though the Anarchists, I mean, you played a solid game. You had a head start as well. I kind of feel. I also feel that if the Carlists had not, first of all, given you the leeway they gave you, and also not have held out so long against the directory. What do you think? What do you think, Jochem? What would have happened to this anarchist revolution?
I'm not so sure. I don't think history would have been so kind to it if they hadn't received the help they got from the Carlists and the holy mission to safeguard Spain from republicanism and fascism, extremism.
Right, and
but I think that works in this kind of scenario where it's like it's so complicated that every faction gets benefit of having to fight 3 other people. It's just a mess.
Yes, it is.
It all depends on how you set the pieces up in the beginning, I think. Since you started off with 3 times the troops that I did, and I didn't manage to defeat the directory fast enough, so...
Yeah, that's true, but that's just the way the game works, of course. That's the whole point. Yeah, that's kind of sad, as in you can't really set this up as in having a 4-way fight with equal strengths, because you need to go through the mechanics of the game. As in, you can't really do this without...
You could make a mod for it.
Okay, you could, but we can't.
Well,
that's the point.
I guess everybody kind of wins right now, because right now in Spain, every single person is king or queen, or at least
or anything,
has the same power as a king or queen, or in fact, everybody is each other's equal.
And also, our good general is still alive. It's called Beneventura Durruti.
Yes,
Durruti. He's still alive.
The general quite anarchistically locked behind the paywall for me, so I can't inspect him. but yeah, man, I really enjoyed chatting with you. Not playing, but sort of being overwhelmed once again by all the stuff that was going on here. I can definitely see how especially in the tight confines of Iberia, it is very hard to play this as a multiplayer game. The Spanish Civil War episode. I think you did an absolute valiant. You made an absolute valiant effort there, as far as I can.
It's also almost 2 hours. I mean, it's like we timed this perfectly. It's like, we might last 2 hours.
We did. Yeah,
that's good to keep in mind for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quick stream idea, just do the Civil War again.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, James, and we'd love to have you back. So yeah, it's been a blast. So next week we're gonna look at something in which anarchy plays, I think, a little bit less of a role, and that's the Kaiserreich mod, right? That's a general plan, at least.
I mean, there's anarchism in there as well.
Is there anarchism?
There definitely is.
Now that you mention it, anarchy plays a bigger role there, I think.
Oh
yeah,
well.
Because you have like the Ukrainian dudes with the black flag.
Both Britain and France are socialist countries, and they have
And they
anarchist
come
factions.
anarchism. Yeah.
Oh, well,
But that's
hey,
something for next week. So
that is something for next week.
I'm very much looking forward to explaining it all. It will be very, very fun, I think.
yeah, me as well. I've also played Kaiserberg. I think we should maybe invite Jakub to join or to just
Oh,
watch it
yeah.
as well because
No.
he did the talk on
Yeah.
Tipco about
Maybe
Kaiserberg.
maybe you reach out to him, Omar, and I
I
don't
will,
mind.
yeah.
I don't mind vacating my hot seat for and just hanging out in the chat if Jakub would actually make it in here. So yeah, absolutely sounds like a cool plan. And next up Tuesday we'll be playing something that which anarchy or any sort of real serious ideologies don't have any room, and that's Tropico 6.
Isn't it also Paradox, by the way?
No,
I thought it was.
no, wait,
Let
no.
me check.
That cannot be. That cannot be. I think it is.
Isn't like Calypso
It's
bought
Calypso.
by Paradox, by the way? Oh no,
Has it been?
I thought it was.
No,
Calypso- check.
Calypso Media? No, I don't think Calypso is its own standalone thing, right? Still.
Yeah,
a
maybe
German developer. Yeah,
Somebody
absolutely.
thought it once. Might be. I don't see
It's-
any mention of Paradox anyway.
No. No, in fact, Calypso themselves have subsidiaries. Well, more on that next week. All right, it's been a lot of fun, people. From all of us at Value, including my two warring faction friends. Stay happy and, of course, stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.